Hello there. Sorry from 17 once again. This is my Uncharted 4 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough. This is Chapter 7, it's Lights Out. This is another fun chapter that's going to be introducing you to some of the more stealthier aspects of the game, should you choose to partake in them. And it's going to also introduce our first real combat section that's going to need you to do stuff. At this early part here, I'm going to be avoiding conflict and showing you a path around this outer rim of the buildings. But the stealth in this part is really good, I think, because it shows a measure of reserve and it shows a measure of control. There is, at any given moment, 2 to 4 people looking for you here, and that's why it works. On crushing, the AI is set to the most alert it can physically be. And when there's about 4 people looking around and you have this kind of terrain advantage, you can circumvent them pretty intelligently just by appraising the situation and moving accordingly, which is exactly what stealth should be, in my opinion. You should be able to take one glance, have an understanding of the patterns that the people are taking, and be able to decipher where the gaps are. And if you put yourself in those gaps, you should have no issue. And this sequence is one of those areas where this works really, really well. All the areas where it doesn't, are because instead of having 4 enemies and a measure of control, they have 30. And they're everywhere, as Nate just said then. On roofs, in windows, all kinds of bizarre places. Doing whatever the hell it is that they do. And it falls apart as you add complexity. It's a deck of cards, making a house of cards on a table with one leg. And it's frustrating for me because Last of Us did it so well. And I don't understand what's expected of the player in a lot of ways. Because they're giving you, on one hand, this idea that you can stealth a lot of these sequences, and then on the other hand, you can't. And when you go to Madagascar, there's a fantastic section that introduced me to the concept that the stealth is essentially a novelty. It's a novelty that not many will partake in because there's no point in partaking in it because it's often futile. And it's a sequence where there's a massive tower in the middle of Madagascar, and there's a ton of enemies with rocket launchers and all kinds of bad shit. I stealthed through the long grass without being seen, all the way to the opposite side of a bridge where you have to go. And on the other side of this bridge, there is muddy water with stones on it, which tells you that you need to get the car there. So then you realise, I need to take the car here, so all the stealth I've just done is completely pointless, because it doesn't serve a purpose because I can't move the game forward. And then when you do take the car to there, if you try to rush it, the bridge breaks because it wants you to do this puzzle where you pull the bridge down with the car. And now every single enemy knows where you are, and they're all killing you in the space of a second, so you physically can't do it while anyone's alive. So we've gone from, here's this big area, plan your path, maybe you can stealth it, to you can't fucking stealth it, to you really can't fucking stealth it, so what's the point in giving us the impression that we could stealth it when we can't? It's so confusing. And speaking of confusing, we have this little movable cutscene against Nadine, where she's going to beat us up, and there is no point in this at all, except exposition and funniness between the two characters. So, here's what I would have done. In this fight, square should attack, triangle should block her right attacks, and circle should block her left attacks. And this could have taught us a very important mechanic for later on. And it would have made sense. Instead of, this is a fight where you can't land hits on her, and she'll just counter you. You press triangle to get her off you when she grabs you, and you cannot roll. So if you want to use that mechanic that they taught us in the prison to dodge blows, it's turned off. So it's just like, what exactly are they doing here except for giving her this power trip and making us watch Nathan get his ass kicked by a woman again? Because it's probably happened numerous times. But look at it, what are we learning here? Where's the gameplay here? This is a fucking cutscene. That's all it is. It's a cutscene where we get to see an attractive, militant woman knocking the tits off of Mr. Drake. And then she throws you out of the window, because I've trimmed that down because it's way longer and unnecessary. But where's the gameplay there? It's not teaching you how to fist fight. It's not going to come in handy later. It does nothing. It adds nothing. And don't get me wrong, the first time you watch it, the banter's funny. You know, it's showing you how good she is. It's edifying that she's this presence, that she's this authority, this figure to be respected and feared, maybe. And then it's like, it does nothing. So, as I said, personally, that's what I would have done. I would have made it so that it's a tutorial to give us exposure to a mechanic that they're going to throw on us at the very end of the game, and on this difficulty, you better know what you're doing because it's instant deaths galore, and only the glancing blows will keep you alive. But Sam's going to throw us a gun here. There's going to be a transition where you don't have to watch it, and then we're going to do some shooting. And this is the first part of this sequence where you can actually shoot, I think. You might have been able to shoot in those other ones, but we didn't partake in that. So we're going to hopefully do a little bit more stealth as Nate starts doing some weird push-ups, and he grabs everything, which can be very difficult when you're trying to do precise jumps on this game and he starts grabbing stuff. But this first area's got a guy here. Look how fast that is. Like, the takedowns on this game are so quick, this could have the fastest stealth sections ever. They could be cool as shit. It could be like something out of an Arkham game when you do those Predator rooms in lightning fast. This guy was weird too. Normally he'll patrol, but he never moved. He straight up just wouldn't move. And it's just, what is he doing? And then he comes and then he sees me. And apparently everybody else sees me because they're all symbiotically linked. So I'm going to come over here, punch that dude, pop him down. And then I think there's one or two guys over there. So the stealth kind of fell tits up, but that was on us, you know, that was me. I made that mistake. And it worked okay. This would have probably been much better had I not got into that little scuffle with that dude. But that's a stealth sequence that's very doable and looks like it could be really fun. Some of the later ones, just really, really painful to do. And it's always the same thing. Like, you know the area I mentioned in Madagascar with the car, once I realised that you couldn't stealth it? Do you know what I did? I shot at the sniper from the tower from a mile away, and then I waited for everybody to run towards me or try and snipe me, and I counter-shot them all. That's just how I did it. And it was boring, and it took about 15 minutes, but there you go. And it's this thing of these set pieces that they lay out for the player. They look on paper fantastic. They've got all this diversity to them, all this richness of verticality and alternate paths and levels and measures and everything. And then when you do them, they're not fun. It's this weird thing. And it might just be me, and I want to keep prefacing this because my feelings on this game, guys, are by no means a reflection on the game, you know? It's just me and how I feel about it. You might fucking love it. Like, bear in mind, when I first played Uncharted 2, I had so many people telling me how good the game was that I disliked almost all of it because I was expecting this masterpiece of a game, and all I got was an incredibly unpolished, fancy-looking explode-em-up. And I was really pissed when I first played Uncharted 2. I didn't like it at all. And I'm hoping that it's the exact same with this. I'm hoping, in retrospect, when I've given it some time and when I come back to it, I'm going to see what I'm missing at the moment. But as it stands, like, I want to trade this game in. And I never trade games in. That's how averse I am to it. Like, when I'm recording the guide and when I'm playing it back, it's just, I'm not seeing qualities, I'm seeing more holes. And it's such a strange feeling to have because I look at Uncharted as a measure of quality of games that are always good. Like, a new God of War comes out, it's going to be good because it's fun, you know? A new Souls game comes out, it's going to be good because it's fun. A new Uncharted, it's one of those games where it doesn't matter who's making it, it doesn't matter what they do with it, you know you're going to have fun with it. This is a great shootout, by the way. I really like this one. It's so beautiful, and the destructible environments is just crazy. And you're going to see here the enemies, just how aggressive they are at flanking. Like, that guy gets... I should be dead, really, but I'm not. And then he comes down, so we get to fight him, and he saves our life, basically, there. Because if not, we were in real trouble. But the good thing about this sequence is if you get a shotgun, you can put some real damage on people, because the shotguns in this game are great. I don't know if they're any good in multiplayer, so don't take any of my opinions for multiplayer benefits, but in these moments, you can have some serious success with them. Just be careful of the cover, because as you see, we're getting flanked, And the moment you start aiming in cover, regardless of how good you think it is, you are vulnerable. And I read one of the comments on the first video, and they said, I don't know why I sounded like that, that was weird. Ooh, that was a shotgun. They mentioned that in the multiplayer, when you aim or when you're in cover like that, your body sticks out about 6 inches more than it actually does. So maybe that's one of the ways that they've adjusted it so that you don't get that immunity from cover by extending your player's hitbox that way, which would make a lot of sense, but I don't really play Uncharted multiplayers. I tried the beta for Uncharted 2, I think it was. It was kind of interesting, it had some appeal, but I came from playing Gears really, really competitively back in the day. And by competitively, I mean I took it seriously and I wanted to win. And we used to stomp people, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And to me, Gears was like the pinnacle of third-person competitive shooters. There's nothing that competes in my heart with that mantle. So I never really found the Uncharted ones to be anything but a fun distraction. And I appreciate there's a lot of people that really love it, and I'm sure that this game is no different, but I don't know it, guys. I haven't played it, and I don't have Plus, so I'll never play it. So there you go. But this is a pretty tricky firefight coming up here. You're going to see a transition, because I couldn't get this to link. Those few people that were shooting at the very beginning seem to completely disappear or start from the spawn when you die here, and I did die, 'cause you have to press triangle to get into the car, and for some reason I was pressing X. I don't know why. Very stupid of me. But do you see this? This is the third-person cover trick, if you've never seen it. However, in this game, if these people want to, they can shoot me. And that's the distinction, if you weren't too sure on the mechanic I was talking about in the first video. It is the ability to use camera and body positioning to get the maximum of cover advantage. And it doesn't work in this game too well, so be very careful with it. But I need to keep reiterating this, guys. The challenges you will face in this crushing... Look how nice that grenade looked, dude. The effects on the explosions in this game are probably the nicest I've ever seen. For realism. Stylistically, Zone of the Enders 2 every day, fucking love it. But just for style, for looking like what it should look like and feeling, really brutal, the grenades in this game are absolutely wonderful to watch detonate. I am a massive fan of them. But as I was saying, the struggles and the strife that you will find in this campaign on Crushing, none of it is limited by your inability to do this trick that I'm trying to do here that doesn't work. This game isn't designed that way at all. The difficulties you will face here will always be for other reasons. Namely, tons of people, no cover whatsoever to speak of, and not enough bullets to do it. And a lot of people gave Quantum Break a hard time for giving you unlimited pistol bullets, and I was one of them, because I just didn't think it made sense in the grand scheme of things. But I realise now in retrospect, Remedy realise that difficulty shouldn't be about running on a battlefield looking for bullets when everything's trying to kill you. And that's coming from a game that I found incredibly disappointing, but for completely different reasons. And I'm with them there, guys. I don't think difficulty should ever be, where the fuck do I find a bullet to put in the last dude? And unfortunately, it often is, especially in these games. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.